Hi guys, Les here. Glad you're here. Let's talk about communication. As we know how important communication is, all the data transfer between us is done from some form of communication. Part of it is a visual, verbal, or through the sound, so we listen to stuff, and by doing, so kinesthetic. And those three components are the key to communication. Some people have more responsive to one or the other. Personally, I am more learning by doing. If you describe to me things, I'm not able to imagine it properly. I have to do it to learn it. But most of people are the component of three of those intertwine to have a full picture of what we try to tell people and what we try to achieve in lessons and coaching. So that communication is a very important tool for a coach to transfer your knowledge and make a student to understand what they want to learn and what they need to do. So I learned in a hard way how to do communication with different type of students. I being a foreigner, my accent plays a role in what I'm saying, how I'm saying, and lack of my English sometimes causes problems between students understanding what I mean. And as well, I'm not always saying what I wanted to say. My tongue kind of rolls different words, especially when I'm stressed, which happens a lot when I'm teaching on seminars and stuff like that. So I had to overcome those communications problems. Other thing was that because some of you are aware that I had a problem with my teeth, so I lost my teeth when I was very young, and my habit was to talk with hand covering my mouth so people didn't see me smiling without teeth, and that was causing a problem to work with people of hard of hearing. For example, Alex, who lip read, had an obvious problem because I was talking like this, and she couldn't actually understand what I'm saying. That's on top of my accent, which it took some time to get used to it to read my lips what I'm saying. So I had to, as a coach, figure out strategies how to overcome that kind of problems. So the communication with people with learning difficulties might be difficult. They are more likely to be challenged in the way they express themselves and the way they understand the world. The clear use of language, and especially the straightforward language, easier version of the language, might be beneficial to not only people with learning disabilities but to all of your students, right? If you're communicating clearly, they are more likely to understand. If you describe the thing, show the thing, and let them feel, they might be it will be definitely easier for them to understand what you try to teach them and copy, repeat, and learn. For some students, it might be easier to use different tools like showing the pictures, description, more of body language, face expressions, tone of the voice. Some people respond to those things much better than the others. So you have to find out which tool gonna be working best for your student, especially that people with different difficulties will respond differently to different tools you're gonna use. So some might be sign language, might be Makaton, might be a pictures with techniques, little words, or like myself and Alex created our own version of a Makaton language. So I show something, she knows what we're gonna do within the training setup and plus reading of my lips, but sometimes it's too noisy or I'm moving too fast, she's not clearly seeing, so we've got a system that she can use that we training. Within learning environment, it is agreed that it's only 7% of all understanding is by words, 55% is gestures, and 38% is a change of tone, pitch, and volume of your voice. So the key of the effective communication is to find what works for your individual students. or a group. You have to figure out the way how to mix all those tools and possible teaching styles to fit within your group and the needs of your individual students. For me, it is a completely different communication with Danny, who is autistic. Autistic people, for example, will understand you literally, so jokes and stuff like that are usually interpreted literally. So that might cause to some misunderstanding and problems within that setup. For Alex, like I said, I have to face her, talk to her directly, and when I turn around, that causes a problem because she can't hear what I say. For other people, my way of speaking, it might be too fast, so I need to consciously slow down. It's like you see on this video, I have to pause a lot in my head to make it slower because I will talk with the speed of light, and as you can hear, it is still quite fast. But in my head, it's painfully painful. Join me on the library. Thank you for joining. I hope you're gonna be happy with what we do. I'm basing this on my mental health level 2 qualification from college. So in this part, we're gonna look at a nonverbal communication, pictures and signs, communication aids, and appropriate language. So first of all, we need to find what communication gonna work with our students, and that can be really tricky because we never know who's coming in. So what I like to do is always do the interview. So I'm gonna ask a parent, maybe a health worker, or whoever referred the person to me, what will be the best communication with them, what should I expect, what should I avoid, and whatever clues they can give me into that person perception of the world and learning style, right? Because usually you will be parents who spend the years with the child and they know how learning goes for that individual and what approach you can start taking. One of the best learning methods of a style of communication is going to be observation. So when you speak with the individual, you observe their reactions. Do they nod to you with understanding? Do they look like they follow you? Is that communication sinking in? Are you using the right language so it's easy for them to understand? Are you not speaking a bit too fast maybe so they don't have enough time to think and process and respond to you? That's kind of a start where you're looking, on that individual, what their behavior is when you're talking to them, right? Some people gonna be a bit of a withdrawn because for myself, I speak too fast and it's a bit overwhelming, right? It's a foreigner speaking in a very fast, and what the hell is going on? We don't know. So I need to really slow down and try to use very simple language so the people are not overwhelmed. So let's focus in this part on recognition of nonverbal communication and checking the understanding. So gestures, tone of voice, expression is a huge part of our communication. It's much bigger than use over words. So there are going to be some clues that you can look on and learn the communication style best for your student and check if they're understanding what we're talking about. So first one will be changing expressions. So we're looking at if students are keeping the eye contact or they're avoiding eye contact, or they're grimacing, do they pull faces, they're smiling, and they're responding to you with a facial expression, right? So it all gives you clues. If somebody's avoiding your eye contact, that might be that they are stressed, overwhelmed by you, and maybe you need to soften up and maybe be more friendly or whatever it is, right? Changing the manner. I don't know if I said that properly. Changing the manner. So if they're getting tense, stressed, maybe hiding, trying to avoid you, or they're friendly and relaxed, you make them happy and they're happy to communicate with you. Type of movement. So we look if they do a repetitive movement, maybe they're doing all the time this, so, I don't understand, maybe, hiding, looking away, going towards you, opening up, closing, all that gives you clues to if the communication going right way, or are you miscommunicating and there's a tension and a stress. We all know that, we all felt that, we can naturally feel what's working, what's not working. They might be using gestures, pointing towards something, away from something, giving you clues that, maybe I want to go, maybe you're talking about something I don't understand. Yes, you're doing spot on. Same, you just have to feel how that works. So looking at the variety of noises, intensity of volumes and pitch and sounds. Some people with learning disabilities gonna make sounds. That might be a happy sound, might be a negative sound. As well, the sound of lack of sound, the silence, it might be giving you that yes, they're listening to you and it's pleasurable. Or it might be that they are very scared and they will not try to engage with you. So that's gonna be with all those clues incorporated and trying to find a way to understand them. Changes in the communication type and style. So for example, same with Alex, she's hard of hearing, where she got a cognitive implant. She can hear, but when it goes loud, she won't hear you. So we need to change the communication style. I can speak then. We have to do more sign language. I'm using my phone to write down, but you have to be tuned into it. What's happening if the people go, oh, I can't hear you. Sorry, I can't hear you. Maybe you need to change the setting. It is too loud. They've got a problem, or there might be change of their mood, change of their overall health. So we have to pay attention on those clues and just be mindful of our surrounding as well. So the paying attention to all those which I just mentioned before gonna give you a confidence that you can spot if the communication is right, if that students really understand you, if they're nodding, they're looking at you, having open gestures, being relaxed. That means that probably you are using the right communication channels, and they're gonna get you right. Plus using your language, it's gonna be a success. But if you see completely opposite, that people looking away, don't want to hear you, doing that kind of sticking hands in the ears, their body's tense, they try to turn around, walk away, maybe panic looking around, maybe it's too noisy, whatever, that's gonna be a pretty good clue that something is not right, and you need to try to change your approach to the person, right? Communication with the sign language. So again, Makaton and the full sign language are kind of nearly the same thing. So Makaton was created as an easier version of British Sign Language. I used to do sign language in Poland, but Polish language is completely different to UK. At the moment, I'm starting to learn again the British Sign Language, but having a few like key things gonna help you to communicate with people with a hard of hearing, or people who are using Makaton, right? So for example, mostly we're using two with Alex. One is a thank you, and the other one is a bullshit. I think the last one is very important, and yes, if you want to explore it, go to the British Sign Language. You can start learning that. I'm finding that with my student, I don't need to know it that much. It is enough for her to lip read, me writing down on a piece of paper, or using the phone as a change, or using a person who speaks better English to translate from Polish to English to grip reading, if that makes sense. But you can use that if you're working in an environment with deaf people. It's definitely worth to study the sign language. I'm finding as well that my communication skills with hands gestures, natural hand gestures, take me a long way in communication with Alex, and I'm happy with that. But in the future, I think I'm going to be investing more into the Makaton and sign language. So the picture exchange communication system PECS been developed for children with autism, that you have a specific pictures to what do you want them to do, what they want to achieve, and the best is that if everybody is on board with your system and what you want to do. The problem is there's no system for karate, so I'm using my own something like this. So we're doing a descriptions with the words, so I can say them. If they read, they can read. A picture shows what we do. Then I show them again how I'm doing, then with a partner or whatever. But the pictures are a really good idea to engage students, especially the younger ones, especially if you put some funny pictures over there, which that brings their attention and sparks up that imagination, makes it sometimes to just initially break the ice about the techniques, what we're gonna do, expect them, right? So you're gonna put, sometimes it's very difficult because how do you put the kata on a picture, right? You have to have a sequence of pictures or whatever, or some techniques are difficult. But I've noticed that when you start using things like that, slowly children or adults starting to notice what is your expectation, and it's easier to do stuff in the long term. And with time, it's less and less use of these things, because they're learning the structure of the class and they know what to expect next, and they are quite good with copying and following. Communication aids. Digital era is brilliant for this because you can find everything online. You can use your phone for communication, you can use your laptop, console, whatever you've got on you, mostly is a phone, and you can break down either pictures or sounds or videos to for example, I use sometimes videos. We're gonna go on competitions. What competition gonna look like? Oh, there you go, there's a video, there's rule set. Have a look what one, do you like it, do you not like it, right? And then we can decide, do we want to go on this competition, do we want to go kata, do we want to go pad work, do we want to do fighting. So feel free to use, and don't worry to use the stuff. Sometimes you're getting wrong, but you know, you just have to go along with it and try your best, and phones are great for that. And the last one is the use of appropriate language to the age group and people's ability. This is a great thing which I experienced as well coming to UK and being a foreigner. Sometimes the language being used talking to me was like overwhelming. I didn't understand. I didn't know what people want from me, what to say, how to say, as well the lack of my ability to speak out what I wanted to do from people. It was really holding me back. And you're gonna find out the same in a class, especially with people with learning disabilities. They might not be able to express themselves correctly, and as well they might not take everything what you say, so you have to kind of find the language that they understand. Like I said, with people with autism, doing the jokes and situational things usually don't work, and they might take you literally, right? So you have to pay attention what you tell them to do. You know, if you're gonna make a joke that we're doing spinning, jumping back kicks into the ankle, they're probably gonna try to do it, right? So you need to have that awareness of what you can do and what you can say within your group, so you don't cause a understanding or misunderstanding problems. I tend to use with children very simple language because I can't do any more sophisticated one. But you know, I try to find the level of communication that suits them and they understand me. So in a nutshell, that is kind of things you need to look out for and use to communicate with the students. It doesn't matter if it's the people with learning disabilities or fully able people. We all have a different means of communication, and looking on those clues gonna help you to use appropriate language, aids, pictures, sign language, tone of voice, pitch, and other clues that are gonna be making your work easier with the student, and for them be much easier to understand what do you want from them. I hope you enjoyed this one, and if you could could let me know what your thoughts about it, if it's something which should I continue, and give things like that, insights to what I do, how I do, and what I learned. If you've got any more data on this thing, on communication, something you would like to add, I'm happy to chat, and please send me your emails. And I think that's it. Wrap up for this one. Thank you for support. Thank you for being here. It is amazing for me that being such a small fish in a big pond, I am getting your support, and I much appreciate you. And thank you very much. Till the next one.